I want to begin to see my life as this fabulous work of art that I can shape it and shade it and mold it into whatever it is that I think would be the absolute ideal for my contribution while I'm here on this planet for the actual unfolding of my humanity. And if you were to ask anybody, what is it that you would really like to have said about yourself? Whose life would you look at and say, this is what I would like to have been said about me, or this is the masterpiece that I would like my life to be? Would it be about how much stuff did I get, or how big was my bank account, or how fast did I run, or how quickly did I get there, or who did I beat in the process? For some it might be, and that might be very satisfying, but on a much higher level than that, the answer to that question for me is in looking at the lives of people like Christ, who was perhaps the most influential person ever to live on our planet, ever to be on our planet, Muhammad, Buddha, spiritual masters who were leaving a message about the power of the human mind. More recently in our times, people like Gandhi, who was able to turn around the whole fate of a nation that had been subservient to an empire, the British Empire, all through nonviolence and all through an approach to loving people and not making conflict something that has to be debilitating or destructive, and to literally put them on a course of running their own lives, all through simplicity and all through a sense of beauty and appreciation. Or Mother Teresa, who labors in the streets of Calcutta just serving and just giving and knows what she is for and knows that she's not against anything. You see the irony? There's a real irony in all of this. It's like a knowingness. It's like creating a sense of what I'm here for, how I'm going to live this life that I have, and doing it in the service of others. Maintaining a sense of spirituality about yourself, maintaining a sense of compassion and caring and love and decency for everyone that you meet, treating conflict and difficulties that come your way, not as something for which you have to win or to master, but in fact as opportunities for you to see how you can transcend these things, and not to have to use hatred and anger and bitterness and beating somebody else down in order to get to this higher place. It's very much a place of peace, and it doesn't mean like abdicating your role in life. It doesn't mean that you can no longer be an architect or that you can't be a salesman or whatever it is that you choose to do for a living. It's much beyond that. It's the way that you are, not what you're getting. It's that wonderful work of art that your life becomes, that you begin to see that I can make my life unfold exactly the way the universe unfolds, with a real sense of perfection and harmony and peace for myself. And the more I do that, the paradox is that all of the things that I chased after so hard and so diligently show up in your life just the right amounts. It's a good thing to remember. Another thing is that in order to get this bigger picture and get to this place that you can stop feeling sorry for yourself, you can stop the self-pity, because it's happening for, you've got to trust, you've got to surrender, you've got to know that what's coming your way has a purpose in it, has a lesson in it, that there's order in chaos. And underneath that chaos, you've got to look for that order and look for that blessing. So one of the things you might have to learn is how to get off of pity and feeling sorry for yourself. And one of the ways to do that is to start focusing on doing something new, doing something different. Keeping yourself out of Maryland would go to her knitting. I found myself getting more wrapped up in giving talks because my talks improved, literally improved, when I was going through that struggle, and so did my writing, because I was just experiencing more compassion for myself. A way to experience that compassion is to get yourself focused, get yourself on something, doing something, and then generally it will work out. The other thing, when you are concentrating on something else or when you are doing something else, your mind can't be on what is wrong. And when you get your mind off of what is wrong, you get it on what is right. What is right is what expands, and what is wrong tends to go away. There's such a beautiful lesson to learn, such a beautiful spiritual lesson to learn if you look at a vase and watch a sculptor. Watch a sculptor make a vase. That's called through shapes his clay and finishes it up. And what is it that makes it a vase? You think it's the material. You think it's the pottery. You think it's the clay. No, it's the empty, silent space inside that the clay surrounds that allows it to be a vase. Otherwise, it's just some pottery. What makes this a room? What makes your house a house? Think about it. It's not the walls. It's not the material that has been put all around us that you live in. It's the space, the empty, silent space inside that makes a house a house. It's the space between the bars that holds the tiger, as they say in Zen. And it's the silence between the notes that makes the music. It's not the note, that's the note. What makes the music is the silence between the notes. And so it is with you. Robert Frost put it this way more beautifully than I could ever say it. We all sit around in a circle and suppose, while the secret sits in the center and knows. You must come in contact with that empty, silent space that is within, not the form that encapsulates it. It gives you time to get the bigger picture, you know? When you see things like that, it's a good thing to remember. Another thing is that in order to get this bigger picture and get to this place where you can stop feeling sorry for yourself, you've got to trust. You've got to surrender. You've got to know that what's coming your way has a purpose in it, has a lesson in it, that there's order and chaos, and underneath that chaos, you've got to look for that order and look for that blessing. So one of the things you might have to learn is how to get off of pity and feeling sorry for yourself. And one of the ways to do that is to start focusing on doing something new, doing something different. Keeping yourself out of, Marilyn would go to her knitting. I found myself getting more wrapped up in giving talks because my talks improved. Literally improved when I was going through that struggle. And so did my writing because I was just experiencing more compassion for myself. A way to experience that compassion is to get yourself focused, get yourself on something, doing something, and then generally it will work out. The other thing, when you are concentrating on something else or when you are doing something else, your mind can't be on what is wrong. And when you get your mind off of what is wrong, you get it on what is right. What is right is what expands, and what is wrong tends to go away. One of the most alarming insights I had was 5 years ago when my grandmother died. She weighed 133 pounds, exactly the same. So, that whatever it is that constituted her life, her very life, her very essence, is invisible and weightless. You can't weigh it. And that's true for you, and that's true for every single one of us. That what our life really is all about, it defies the world of form. It defies the world of linear. And yet we spend almost all of our energy and our time here in this part of our consciousness in form, believing that this is who we are. Spending time every day in gratitude can shift your entire life. Spending time deliberately thinking about all the things that are good in your life will not only make you feel better about your life, which is the only important thing, but it will also start attracting more better things into your life. Loving people live in a loving world. Hostile people live in a hostile world. It's the same world. I'm sure you know someone who almost always seems upbeat, positive, and rarely, if ever, speaks negatively. No doubt this person rarely, if ever, attracts negative situations or angry people. You are one of those moving parts. You must have shown up here for a reason. Khalil Gibran said, "When you are born, your work is placed in your heart." So what is your work? Your purpose? Are you living it out the way your heart urges you to? Every day are items from your own personal inventory. If you give away hatred, it's because you've stored up hatred inside of you to give it away. If you give away misery, it's because you have a ready supply available from which to select and to distribute. Finding your purpose. You most likely yearn to know what your purpose is. How can I find my purpose is the question I'm asking most often. The questioner often elaborates on his or her dilemma by saying, I would be happier if I could be on purpose, but I just don't know what my purpose is in life. The evening meditation uses the sound of the sound of gratitude for all that has manifested in your life. Meditation not only affects you, it impacts everyone around you. When you're at peace, you radiate a different kind of energy than when you're stressed or depressed. I find that my meditating not only calms me, but it has a soothing effect on my family and those around me.